I go, get lost, Mom, as you know. Structure them. Is it worth us doing a test? When I say test, I don't mean eyes down, we do a test. Should we write down? Well, no, sorry. Let's save ourselves some time. Yeah, have this one. I have one of these each. And can we save Blessing one and Angela one? So if someone could be... Could I give you one for Angela? Is that two there for you? Voila. I haven't got it. I should have done it. I did 9. Oh. Have I give 2? Oh, that's brilliant. That's right then. Oh, because... Well, can I use Blessings now? Because I've left mine downstairs. Sorry about that. It just means I can... Right then, so... But I've heard Angela's so good. Well, she probably won't... just have a look through. What I've got here, this is a draft sort of handout piece of work I've been doing for a while. And you're the first guys to have seen it. I haven't finished it yet. You'll see there's bits where I haven't finished and there's gaps. But I thought about it when we started thinking about structure. And what I've got here is my pragmatic idea of sort of project layout. And so I scrambled to get it together just because I thought about it today and thought, this might just do the job. And you'll see that I'll give you bits and bobs of tips. So let's just briefly go through. But what I'm particularly interested in looking at is, of course, the standard template that's on page 2. But we'll come to that. So if I can just quickly flick through this. This section aims to doobie, get you through. You woke up this morning, see your most up-to-date draft spread out on your desk. You have a feeling of doom and probably feel sick because you feel all the work you've written up to this point is not good enough. And if you can imagine in the whole of the research day, I think this is about day 62 or 63. So I'm encouraging you to be writing up by the 100th day. So this is a bit about writing, but it's also how to write what it is you need to do. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. And previous I've talked about academic anxiety. It's doing its thing. Academic anxiety is this thing that's going to stop you just doing something. And it does on a daily basis. It does. It's not your mate. Okay, well, for 4 days, within the next 8 hours, we're going to try and get you to a draft 2. We're going to get you started, start you thinking about what you got to do. So, I love this little quote. An expert is one who knows more and more about less and less until he knows absolutely everything about nothing. Yeah? I tell you, sometimes how I feel. Okay, if you've been referred here from another section, then welcome. Don't forget to go back and catch up. If you're reading all the way through, well done, you deserve a medal. And I'm estimating about 3 or 4 weeks of suffering left before you can until you hand in free. Until then, it's best to read the following section related to the layout of an average research. So you start with this average archetypal template. Now, don't cheat though, because it is on the other side, and I'm reckoning, well, shall we make you suffer now or later? I want to make you suffer. You're not meant to like suffering. Could we? Sorry, we'll do some bits in a minute. What I'll do, I will draw it up immediately. Well, no, sorry. What should you have? What do you need in a project? The average bog standard research template. What did you have in that handbook when you did your level 7? What did it say?
You need a title.
You need a title. That's true. So you got a title. I reckon there's going to be about 8 things. They're bog standard and you know them. There's nothing special about them, but they're going to frame it. But I'm also thinking already ahead for tomorrow, if we were to do a 6-panel storyboard by the end of tomorrow about where you're going to start putting some of your stuff. These sort of fit into these. It's just that yours might not look like this. And they might look in a different order, and they might start being more character driven. But this is your bog standard. This is your start point. You know, if everything else goes to shit, you can do this, and you'll pass. But you don't want to be left feeling like you did when you handed in that level 7 piece of work. You don't want to cheat this time. This is your moment. You paid a lot of money and this is your moment in your life. You've got to feel at the end of this, when you're walking across that stage in that red gown and everyone's going, oh, posh, and then, I tell you, all the grads are sort of going, well, what have they done? Because you will look amazing. And it is fantastic, and you'll go first and you'll have your title in the book and it gets read out and you're going, no. No, you're not. You're going to go, come on. And then I think I'm on stage somewhere and I have to be there and I have to shake your hand and push you off. And it is an absolutely... But when you get there, this time, you want to go, I did this and it was proper. But you can do it proper this way. But I'm going to say, do it your way. Title. Yeah. Yeah. You're going to need some aims. Usually, well, research aims, but I put our aims, research aims. What? Yep. Come on, don't dry up, keep going.
Yeah, you could also have dedication.
Oh yeah, there are things. No, but the thing is, there are things. Oh, I'm not going to put dedication on there, but it matters. Acknowledgements and dedication, because I would suggest to you guys that you dedicate. It might be with the way you present your dissertation, so funky that you dedicate to people who actually are in the work. It's funny. Yeah, you'll come to that. Or you could just do a standard dedication. Thanks to Mum, thanks to Dad, thanks to everyone else and, the world and whatever that is. But it is a sort of issue. But you're definitely going to need some sort of intro stroke background. There's no doubt about that. And, of course, this is true for your portfolio as well. So you could just do it this way. And guess what? You won't fail. I don't care if it's traditional. But I'm going to try and encourage you to be funky. If your traditional, though, is absolutely solid and job done. But if your funkiness gets you going more, job done as well. What I'm saying is there's different ways now. There's not just this one way anymore. You're the difference. Yeah. But you know this. There's no tricks to this. This is it. There's nothing. These scientists. It's not so it's quasi. It's just a method. It's methodology. It's a worldview, isn't it? Methodology. Yeah, most people miss that one, but you're going to have some sort of methody, tool development-y, what you did chapter. At level 7, you probably thought that was your methodology chapter, or you might have just had a method chapter and not even talked about methodology, because, as I know, you came onto this course and didn't know a thing about methodology. Because what is methodology? Epistemological worldviews put into practice. You were all read, you just didn't know it, weren't you? That was your methodology. You were trying to be objectively scientific. There's a bit of blue though in yourself, but now you definitely know you're one of them. You don't know, you don't have to decide until you're writing on really. But there is a difference between the method, tool development-y sort of.
Last one, research questions.
Have a look up there. You're missing. There's something missing. I've left a gap. What have I missed? Well done. That's going to be important to you because your examiner is going to expect some sort. It doesn't have to be a question. It could be a statement, but they're going to expect some sort of position And so when we were looking at focus a bit yesterday and I was pushing you, you're going, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I think I'm going to stick with a member. It's going to be the stories, and it's going to be the stories they tell about manhood and cultural, that's going to form to become your position. But because we're working inductively, I really do think, if you think you already know that there's going to be a good issue to do with that already before doing anything, it's probably been done. Unless you're an original thinker and you're already working at that level. If you're already working at level 10, 12, 13 and have been hanging around with Bertrand Russell, you've probably got a really good idea about what needs to be said about something. That's where you're at. And in that case, you can start straight away with your deductiveness, can't you? Because you can go, the best question that needs to be asked now, because Snoot says I'll ask that one, they ask that one, the others that one, and all the other 10,000 people I can list ask that one. That means they've all missed that one question, I'm going to ask it. Then go for it. But you don't. Because you're useless. Because, no, you're not useless at all. In today's age of digital, there's more and more information and lots less to know. That's what the quote's about, isn't it? So you've got to assume that you don't know what's best to ask. But you do need a research question. But because you're working deductively now, because you're going to go, I don't know what to ask. Oh, next day, I still don't know what to ask. I still don't know. Oh, shit, man, just keep going. Dean said, just keep going even though I'm shit. So I'm going to keep going, yeah, go. Oh, no, I'll come back. Oh, I'm going to go. That's what I asked. That's what's going to happen. You're going to work out your research statement and the real issue. By the time you finish, you will have the best and the right purpose, the real research question. You're working inductively. You never tell that to your supervisors, because like most crappy places, learning, what happens is we think that you're going to have a research question even before you've done your expression of interest, even before you've done your ethics, that you're going to know what you're doing, because, you know, we're all world-renowned scientists, aren't we? Or metaphysicians. We know what we're going to do. Or we know what needs to be asked, because we are the ones. Do we? Hell. We're going to be going, I need to ask something. Okay, what do nurses do? Okay, that's a good question. What do nurses do? So what's your research about? I'm finding out what nurses do. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, well, why would you do that? I'll tell you what, tell me in 100 days' time, think about things for 100 days, right? And then tell me what a good question would be about archetypal mythologies of man's need to feel saved. Within your arena. Now, that's never been asked within your arena. Now you got something. And I'm going to go, you are? And you're going to go, yeah, I've been thinking about this, and it's never been, it's new, it's a new way, it's a new fusion, you're going to get yourself more than just an ordinary doctorate. But you can't tell your supervisor that, and you can't tell anyone. It's a secret. As far as you're concerned and they're concerned, you're asking what the nurses do. It will change. All right? Research, question, statement, whatever. It's position. What I'd expect to see, not necessarily your portfolio, but in your portfolio stroke, it will be, since starting this course or since starting this doctorate, I'd become interested in the role of diabetic nurses within, the escapement of modern day literature. This progressed itself and emerged into questions to do with how does that show itself, how does representation, can that, and how come it hasn't ever been symbolically analysed for reasons I will discuss later. Well, they haven't been ever semically, because they just haven't been. So I've contributed, thank you very much. But I didn't know that when I started. How would I? If I worked in the lab, though, and I was dealing with biological considerations and biological issues, and I wasn't going to be contaminating and involved, and I was just going to wear a coat and look through test tubes, I think I would know what I was looking at, and there'd be a good reason for it, because we're extending the biological certainties that we can in. But in social sciences, can't be done. Are we missing a big chunk of something?
Yes, literature review.
Is the one. So we're going to come back to that one. Because I don't even know what a literature review is, and you've got to do a whole module on it. Now, the thing is, it's not a bad module, to be honest, and guess what? You'll easily pass it. But what my advice to you now, and maybe in the time if I'm involved in it again, but they banned me from the last time, is make it useful for your overall project. Don't tell anyone that's what you're doing, but that's what you're doing. No point in you writing 7,000 word literature reviews unless it's got something to do with whatever it is you're doing. Inductively, though, I always have trouble with this, and I was explaining yesterday how some of my students did their 7,000 words because they thought they were asking this particular question, and it turned out that it was, and they'd done this 7,000 words, and you feel so good because you go, oh, I've got 7,000 words done at least. I mean, technically, I'm, almost a 10th, 20th done. Whoa. What do you mean I've done the wrong thing? You've done the wrong thing. I haven't done the wrong thing. Why have you've just shown that you can do a systematic review, haven't you? But it hasn't really helped inform you. Yes, it has. No, it hasn't. Yes, it has. No, it hasn't. Yeah, in what way? You could have done that at level 7. And that's what it will end up as. And you'll be going, according to Snood et al., as noted by, as argued with, and it'll be all that sort of stuff, but it won't have much contingency. I don't think you can do your literature review proper. I think you can sketch one out, but I don't think you can do it proper until you sort of have an opinion back up here in day 100 and you sort of going, well, I really do think I can say something now because I'm more confident now. I've done 100 days, man. I can say something. And this literature says all this, and it's amazing. Once you get a bit of your own, you'll start looking at the literature on diabetes and go, it's bland, isn't it? It's all the same. It's null. It's an echo chamber. It goes round and round. There's no innovation. We knew everything we knew about diabetes nursing in 1976. It's never changed. What do you mean I can't have sugar? Why am I doing a study on diabetes? The value of it. Just think about it differently. And your literature review changes. Someone I'm still working with, they started some work on intuition. And initially we started looking at intuition as something that was essential, tangible and useful in nursing. All of nursing during the 1960s, 70s and 80s, I'm sure you know this as well, Chris, in terms of, did you have to do Patricia Benner?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if we still do we still do Patricia Benner sort of in nursing schools and stuff? It was a big thing, wasn't it? It was all about this advanced beginner, was it novice to expert practitioner? It was all about intuition and the intuition was somehow innate within you, and all you had to do was let it out once you got better. And and you can imagine now what I would, and all of the literature would go, yes, and we confirm this, it's echo chamber. And then now my colleague's going to come along and she started off like that, now she's going to go, well, that's a load of naff, innit? Because symbolically looking, there's no such thing as intuition. What happens if intuition was just a value signifier? A valued signifier to say that expert nurses can go on a Band-Aid. Even though there's no intuition. It's amazing. After I passed my test, I was useless. I've been driving for 40 years. I'm not bad. I'm still not good. But what can you say? Give a drunk monkey a gun, he'll soon learn how to use it. Is that intuition? I don't know. Intuition. What they were really saying, and this is now the form of her argument, is that somehow mankind can be separable and more valued than anything else in the kingdom. That's a different research question from the same issue. Intuition is a barrier to progression. Oh my God. That changes everything. That becomes my statement. Intuition is if Camsville didn't already exist, it would be a place we'd have to invent. Research statement number 1. I didn't just come up with that and then go, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to prove that non-reality is a bit this, that and the other. I had to do 400 days of this and go, oh, that's a good idea, I just say that. And then I made sure it fitted. Literature search. What you got next? There might be a few bits before discussion, actually. I'm thinking, yeah, conclusion, let's go home. You almost come in, oh yeah, hold on a minute. And there's some stuff that has to happen in between. Yeah. But we're going to have some sort of analysis. Yeah. Well, unless you knows about it and you just don't bother, he just goes, well, that's good enough, right? I've done a literature search, Dean. What more do you want?